Dear learners, now let's come to our next key performance indicator of inventory, which is excess and obsolete inventory. So excess inventory and obsolete inventory are two different parts of key performance indicators. Now let's understand what is the difference between excess and obsolete. So let's start with excess inventory. So excess, the name itself says that extra inventory. Now extra is something we have to define. So in the term of excess inventory, the definition says that the quantity on hand inventory which is more than future demand of defined period. So defined period concept is very important in excess inventory because this defined period has to be defined by a company. So usually 12 months of future demand period is considered to calculate the excess inventory. But few companies may consider 6 months in future for demand quantity, or few companies may calculate 3 months in future based on their product nature, perishability and the life cycle of their products. So here is an example of item A001 whose on hand stock is 100 quantity, and now we have to see the future demand of this part. So we have considered defined period as 12 months, and here you will see the future demand of this part from month January to December, and you will see that future demand of this product is only 850 quantity, but you actually have 1000 quantity on your hand, and that means that extra part which is 150 quantity is a excess inventory. So simply excess inventory is a quantity on hand which is more than future demand of a defined period, and this demand period has to be defined by a company based on their business nature. Now let's talk about obsolete inventory. So in obsolete inventory there are two criteria to consider inventory is obsolete or not. So the first criteria is inventory which is at end of its life and it cannot function as a normal inventory, or it cannot provide the required requirements, or it will not provide that function or requirements to the customer that is expected. So such inventory is actually an obsolete inventory. The second criteria used to see the obsolete inventory is inventory which has no future demand in a defined period. Again, you have to see a defined period, and the same inventory had no sales in the past defined period. So here we talk about future defined period as well as past defined period. Now let's assume that we are checking the inventory for future demand of 12 months and past demand of 6 months. Now consider a situation here. We have item A005 whose on hand inventory stock is 25 quantity, and let's say there was no sales for this particular part in last 6 months. And if we see a future demand, this product has no future demand in next 12 months, which is our defined period. So future defined period is 12 months and past defined period is 6 months in this example. Now this defined period may vary company to company, but this is an ideal situation that we are considering in our example. So simply in excess inventory we see the future demand, but in obsolete inventory we see future demand as well as past sales to consider the obsolete inventory nature. Now in an ideal situation, lower the excess and obsolete inventory, better the performance of the company. The very important point here is whenever you have an excess inventory, it is very important to take proactive actions, reactive actions to control that inventory. Otherwise, after certain period of time, this inventory will become an obsolete inventory for the business. And that's why if you control excess inventory well, you will reduce your potential obsolete inventory in the future. So that was all about excess and obsolete inventory.